One of the key things to succeeding in self-publishing is doing the right things every single day. And that's one of the reasons why in today's video, we're going to be discussing the 3 things to do in self-publishing every day. This is Chris Baird from SelfPublishingMadeEasyNow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. So let's get right into those 3 things. So the first thing is that when starting, you need to dedicate a certain amount of time each day to the most important tasks. And that means, for example, how many minutes are you going to be sitting down and you're going to be doing the writing portion of your day, where you're going to be working on your next book. The other area is what percentage of that time you're dedicating each day is going to be to learning new things, so that you're continually getting sharper at the skill sets with self-publishing. As I've mentioned in other videos, there are so many tools that you can learn, and each of those tools has a set of things and courses and such that go with it to learn how exactly to best use these tools, as opposed to people who skipped the training and skipped the learning and just try to use tools and equipment without using them to their full ability. This is a huge cost. And the final third of your time each day is on the marketing side. Your books are not going to sell themselves. You have to get them in front of the right people at the right time with the right messaging. In fact, on Amazon, about 80 to 90% of the sales that you're seeing going through Amazon are specifically associated with a lot of the marketing efforts that you're doing, and about that, again, 10-20% with the actual content of the books. Now, that seems a little bit shocking to a lot of authors, but that is just the reality of the situation, that you cannot overlook and underestimate just how powerful the marketing is. But if you're only marketing, well, how many books are you getting on the market? And this is one of the reasons why it is such a power habit of devoting a certain amount of time and having a list. I personally like to use Todoist to keep track of that. You can find my affiliate link in the description. That's the tool I like to use when it comes to trying to make sure that I'm on track on a daily basis of doing the most important things. The second point is that you want to find people who motivate you and have accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, and staying in touch on a daily or at least a weekly basis with them. We're not talking about just randomly having, sometimes we listen to a book or we might have come in contact with somebody at a conference, but this idea of actually being regularly in contact with people who are motivating you, who are very interested in seeing your business go forward. I just did a discovery session with somebody for free yesterday, and that was one of the things I was commenting on, is that the real value when it comes to like the group coaching that I do, it's that you're able to give a daily update, and we're able to speak directly into that, where I go back and forth to make sure that my clients are making the progress that they need and deserve for the books that they're putting on the market. If you're going to put the books on the market, you need somebody who's going to keep motivating you as you're moving forward. And if you don't have that person, some people even have the opposite, where your parents or friends are telling you you're never going to make it, you're not really an author, you don't have a doctorate degree, so you have no business talking about some sort of self-help or whatever it is that you're talking about. And it's just not true. That isn't how this self-publishing game works. The way that it works is that you have the correct niche that you have, you're doing marketing, whether paid or content marketing, as I teach in my content marketing course, showing you exactly how to drive that traffic in, and then it's up to the sales page on your book to get this book to sell. And we're getting these people onto an email list, and then we're going around with that. And the fact is, we need to stay motivated, and we need to stay in touch with people you trust. And I always mention this with the discovery sessions. I just comment that if it's not me to help you with my one-on-one program, then choose somebody else, but do not attempt to go it alone. And you want somebody who's going to be you're going to be in contact not once a year, but really on a daily basis. And that's what I offer within the group coaching, is where we're able to go back and forth on a daily basis to make sure that you're achieving your full potential when it comes to your books, getting them on the market, and getting these books to sell. Let's move on to point 3. It is grit. This is something we need to practice on a daily basis. The most challenging thing of the entire self-publishing concept and game, it is maintaining your motivation and continually every day waking up and continuing to work and focusing in on this one subgenre or niche that you're targeting for your specific books. Now, there are so many of you, and you know who you are, that when you're going about putting your books on the market, you continually are jumping between genres. You have books all over the place. I have no idea what you're an expert in because you seem to be an expert in everything. When in reality, if you just put out, let's say you're interested in puppy training, if you put out 4 or 5 puppy training books, you'd find you get a lot more traction than if you have one on puppy training, one on your foot help and health, and one of them on business success and entrepreneurship or something. It's all over the place. You're not really an expert in any of these things, or at least that's what you're communicating by using the same pen name. In addition, even if you are using different pen names, which I do suggest if you're going through multiple niches, you're going to want to hold that grit and focus in there. You're still not going to be able to build email lists on all of those different books. This is a mistake I myself made, and is a huge one. It'd be much better to write lots and lots of books in one specific topic and build an email list around that topic. But it's got to be something you're interested in, and you have to understand that really to get to the takeoff point, it's about a 2 to 3 year process. To really start seeing exploding things, 3 to 5, and at the 10 year, you can usually have a name for yourself within the market that you're trying to sell your books. I know that sounds like a long time, but in reality, if you think about all the years you use on your day job, specifically doing whatever it is you happen to be doing, how many 10 years after 10 years after 10 years are you devoting there? Do you not have a little bit of time to invest in yourself and your business? And that's right, your books are a business. So this concept of grit is not something that you just will up every now and then. You need to wake up every day and saying, I'm going to devote the time that is necessary. Like we talked about in point 1, the time that's necessary. I'm going to stay in contact with people who motivate me and have done what I am trying to achieve. That's point 2. And I'm not going to give up and switch niches and jump all over the place. We're going to hold the focus. And we're assuming, of course, that you're going into a profitable subgenre or niche. And that's the reason I use Katie Spy. You can find my affiliate link below for that, because that is a very powerful tool to figuring out the keywords. And when we say genre or subgenre and niche, really it's the keywords around it that's really going to decide that. Certain people are doing searches to find books on these topics that you are writing on, or maybe they aren't doing searches, but when they come across, we want your books to show up on the first page, and we want those people to actually already show they're interested in making purchases on your books that you have on the market. And that is something that a lot of people make a mistake of, jumping between niches as opposed to keeping that grit in the focus, or choosing an unprofitable niche. And no matter how many books you come out with, you're never going to get them to sell. And so, and a lot of these things, I may be speaking, in terms of maybe at a high level, but I myself have failed in so many ways over the years to do these things that it took me forever to realize I need to have somebody help me with accountability and motivation. Paying somebody to do that. It is worth the investment. A lot of this stuff is you think you're going to save money on the one end, in reality you end up losing lots of money and losing the chance that your books are going to explode when we have the right number of books to the right market with the right timing and the right marketing, and suddenly you discover, hey, you are an author. How many books do you need to sell? I remember somebody once told me, you're not really an author until you've sold 1,000 books. And I'm sitting like, well, what about after we sold 40,000? What are we at that point, right? I mean, I think it was just even the audiobooks that crossed, what was it last month, 18,000 audiobooks marker, where it just continues to go. While I'm sleeping, the books are continuing to sell. And so this is one of the reasons, once I learned all of these skills, I was thinking, what better way than to teach other people how to develop that grit and understand the very mistakes that I made, how you can avoid those mistakes and get your books onto the market. So that's something to consider. These are the 3 things you're definitely going to be doing on a daily basis. But what about the 3 things you should avoid in self-publishing? Well, check up above me here, and I'll see you on the next video.